Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. Such a pleasure to speak to you today. Thanks for taking the time. How are you?
Thank you. Great to meet you.
Maybe you could just set the scene for us a little bit as audiences dive into season 2 of the Big Door Prize. Where do we find the residents of Deerfield? And I suppose, yeah, it's this idea of visions and the next stage rather than just the potentials from the Morpho machine.
That's right. In the first season of the Big Door Prize, we saw the residents of Deerfield dealing with this machine, which would tell them their life potential on a little card. And in the second season, the machine goes to this next stage where instead of cards, it's these visions, which are very personal to the people sitting in the machine, which tell them something about their lives. It might be something from the past, the future, might be more of a dream, but it really inspires them to make big changes to try to achieve whatever they think their potential might be. So we have a lot of fish out of water comedy of people stepping out of their comfort zones and trying new things.
And I guess the first season really kind of introduced audiences to the premise, to this collection of characters. But here we're seeing a lot of it all play out now. I mean, I guess because it was based on the Emma Walsh's book, perhaps you already had all the storyline laid out. I don't know. Did you already have in mind when you were making the first season where you're going to take things in the second?
I think we had some ideas, and then there's fun in well, let's get some new ideas as well, because the book does have an ending, and we didn't want our show to have an ending. And so there's really all of our storylines in the second season, they're not from the book. And there's a lot of, there's a great challenge in that. And there's also a lot of fun and creativity in saying, let's stay true to the themes of the book and what was started in that story and see how far we can take it.
And I mean, what an incredible cast you've put together. And I just think they really breathe life into these, really relatable and complex and flawed characters, but particularly Chris O'Dowd. I mean, we know him very well from all the different shows, IT crowds, Bridesmaids, etc. But he always seems to be this very grounding influence, despite all this fantastical sci-fi stuff going on. You're just always right there with him going through all of these things.
Yeah, Chris O'Dowd is an incredible actor. He's not only so funny, but he's actually a wonderful dramatic actor, and he gets to show his full range in this show. He is a bit of the everyman at the center of this, who is the most anxious and alarmed by the presence of this machine in his small town, the most resistant to change. But in our second season, you get to see that he actually becomes perhaps the most obsessed with the machine and what it means.
And I think what's also great about the show is that you are dealing with these really existential questions. Should I be doing something else? Should I be married to someone else? Should I blow up my whole life and go with something else? But you're doing everything in this very light-hearted way. It's all with humor. It's not sort of dark in the way that Black Mirror might be. So do you think that's what's made it really appealing for people, and people sort of can reflect on their own lives without being too dark and gritty about it?
I hope so. I mean, I like to call it an existential comedy where this entire town is basically going through a midlife crisis together. And there's something that, could be scary about that, but because everyone's doing it, it feels like there's a lot of empathy and compassion for your fellow neighbor in this show. So that's probably why it goes down a little easier than if this were a super dark Black Mirror episode.
And I think you've got that great feeling of the really sort of well thought through characters from Schitt's Creek through to this. So, what do you think you learned from that you brought to this? And where do you think you'll go next? Is going to be a third season, a different show?
Well, yeah, I learned so much from working on Schitt's Creek and seeing how that show evolved. And so much of Schitt's Creek is just people falling in love with these people and wanting to live in that small town with these people. And I tried to apply some of that to this show too, that these are people that feel real, relatable, you understand them, you want to spend time with them, and you get to know them and are surprised by their layers as the show unfolds. So there's a sweet spot for me in these small town comedies, and I would love to keep doing more of this one.
Absolutely. Well, let's hope so. Thanks so much for your time. Can't wait for everyone to see the second season of Big Door Prize. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.